Welcome to the One More Rep podcast, where we take it beyond the barbell. I'm your host, Modingo, and with me with a big jug of water,
I got beer too.
is Brody. What's up, man?
Hey, man. You know, we just did another episode, and I didn't give a chance to say hi. Ever since we started doing this beer introduction, it's like, and I got with me, Brody, what are you drinking? It's like, you say, hey, bro. Like, I used to, struggle with my intros, and now I think you just took them away from me. That's why I don't struggle anymore. You just took them away.
If you haven't listened to our earlier episodes, you can hear the progression that Brody has made when it comes to his intros.
Yeah, I just don't have the sweet, sexy voice like Mo.
Hey, it's
a lot of Zima.
Yeah, a lot of Zima and a lot of Jolly Ranchers, and I think about to go into my third year with the other show, so lots of practice.
That, and I guess as you get older, your voice gets deeper, and he's definitely older.
Got that James Earl Jones thing going on, and I am, yes, older. Shit, I'm about 10 years older than you.
38.
Oh, okay. Not that much.
I didn't realize I was 38. I'm like,
oh, I always forget how old I am.
Bro,
I always
I'm
have
about
to ask
to
my
turn
wife.
39. Like, what the hell's going on here, Mo?
Hey,
I'm over half dead.
You're almost old enough to get free coffee.
If it's a free cold brew, I'd be down.
Okay, there we go.
Warehouse 4.
Warehouse 4, where you at?
Get your senior discount ready. Coming in hot.
Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the Instagram photos. Those are always pretty cool. We always like to see you rep your box and let us know where you're listening at. But most of all, thanks for being a part of this community. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're not liking and sharing our stuff, get on it. That was for me, not Mo.
As he cracks open his North High honey wheat.
This is going to be delicious.
Yeah, I had to let him have that one because it's 5%.
Honey and beer, it's like yin and yang, baby. Wait, no, it can't be yin and yang because that's opposites. Honey and beer is like me and my Xbox.
Okay, I was going to say chalk and push presses.
Yeah, that's better. Let's go with that one. Chalk and push presses. No, this is going to be delicious. It's good.
It's good?
It's good.
All right.
I'm kind of spoiled. We got a brewery down the street from us, and they release a honey kolsch, and it's brewed with local honey. And I guess
Hareless
maybe
Hare.
maybe I'm spoiled because that thing knocks this out the water. This is a little bit more potent though. But thanks, Mo. Mo's selection's getting much better on the beer. He started the process with Bud Ice. And now we're drinking North High Brewing Company.
I'm slowly working
from
my way
Columbus,
up.
and he's got a left hand in his hand. Left hand? Yeah, he's got left hand
left-handed
brewing
left
in his
hand.
left hand.
So this week's episode, something that was on the original list
Long ago,
before.
It's still on the list.
Yeah, it's before we even started recording. And even before we started doing the show, Bro had always harassed me about becoming a potential gym owner one day. And one of the things we talked about...
I still harass
he
you.
still harasses me, so it hasn't changed. But honestly, one of the conversations I had in my experiences with CrossFit, doing a lot of traveling, going to different gyms, and talking about my experience, and a lot of them are vastly different. And I was kind of explaining those to Bro, and the way he kind of coined these two opposite ends of the spectrum is that he told me that some people are gym owners and some people are hobbyists.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, gym owner versus hobbyist. Let's just kind of cover what we're talking about there when you mentioned that to me.
Yeah, so, if you're going to run your gym like a business, as you should, then it gets ran a specific way. If you are opening a gym for a place that you can work out and just hope that you make some money, that's a hobby. Mm-hmm. Don't claim that you're a gym owner when you are not actually, you don't own the gym. Technically you do, but technically you don't, because you really don't care what goes on inside of your gym. You're just there for a place for you to work out and your friends. Whereas an owner, no. First and foremost, I'm here for the people in my membership. I'm here for my members. I didn't open this gym to work out because I don't get to work out near as much. My workout becomes secondary. Theirs becomes primary. Their current concerns are primary. Mine are secondary. And you, as hobbyists, that's what happens is you tend to have the mindset of, that, you really just open this for fun. It's just, it doesn't matter if you make money is what I've heard. And, if we add someone this month, that's cool. If not, that's fine. I'm like, well, you're like 0 for 3 if you're a business owner, because I need to care about my people. I open this gym to make money. Okay. And the subset of that is, we can create a great community, have a great gym, and have great offerings, and still make a living off of this.
And for those of you that are kind of new to the CrossFit community, if you wind the clock back to around 2010, 2011, as we identify as the Reebok era, one of the things you saw during that boom was a lot of gyms just opening up.
A lot.
To the point where the military just moved me to San Antonio at that point. And when I got there, as I was looking for a place to work out, there were about 20 gyms.
Which is small.
Which is small for a city that large.
Yeah.
And then once the boom hit, over the course of the next 2 years, I think we swelled to about 60 gyms. When I left in 2014, it had gone back down to about 30 or 40.
Right.
So just to show you in a 2-year time span, the number of gyms that closed, some of those people were probably hobbyists. And when my thought about the hobbyist aspect is, and this is just from observation, listening to other owners, is that folks thought they could open up a gym, work out 3 times a day, and go to regionals.
And make money.
Right. But one of the things that people didn't factor in were who's going to clean the toilets, who's going to do my marketing, who's going to mop the floors. And when these people that weren't necessarily prepared to be business people were faced with operational issues like the toilet's clogged, I need more members, I need to get a rower fixed. When all those things started to creep in and they weren't prepared for that from a financial or business standpoint, it became challenging to continue to operate.
Yeah. A hobby is something you can pick up and put down.
Well,
I guess
that's a good way to put it.
I want to do it for a little bit, and then, when I'm bored, I'll go do something else. That's a hobby. And that's what happens. These gym owners open that, we've totally bashed the L1. I mean, I've bashed it. Mo's kind of like, he semi-bashed it. I'm converting him, guys. He's getting more angry. But no, L1's so easy to get, okay?
There's no minimum requirement.
Right. You don't have to be an owner for whatever. You don't have to be a CrossFitter for however long. There's no
prerequisites.
Yeah. So if I have $3,000, pay my affiliate fee, and I'm going to pay another $1,000. So for $4,000, I am now franchised.
You theoretically could open up a gym.
I'm franchising CrossFit, right? And then if you want to do it right, you could spend another $5,000. So under $10,000, you can start a gym, right? Legitimately, right? I think we spent, what did we spend? $6,000 in equipment when I first opened the gym. So, the equipment list was small. We bought what we had to buy that was a necessity, not a want, which is another huge pitfall these hobbyists make, is they furnish their gym with $30,000 equipment and they have no members. Like, what happened? You don't need it. Like, you don't need equipment for 30 athletes per class if you have 2 athletes per class. So now you just got all this expensive equipment sitting there, opened it. I trimmed this down. We opened this with $6,000 for equipment. And then every time we would add a member, we would add some equipment, because guess what? We get more money, right? So we cover our overhead. We added equipment as needed. If we needed another couple barbells, we had money to do it because we were growing. So we grew organically, is what is a term. We grew organically as our business grew. We grew with equipment. These hobbyists, these people who they'll go get a loan or they'll get a friend, a family, whatever, to give them money. They're going to go out and spend $30,000, $40,000 on equipment for something that is in its infant stage. Like, it's just the first, I guess it's one of the first bad decisions you can make as an owner, is buying all this equipment you don't need. It's not, you build it and they will come. It's not Field of Dreams. I mean, seriously, you build it and they will come. Come on, wake up.
Yes. So piggybacking off of that, build it and they will come thought process. In San Antonio, one of the first things I saw that, because I've always had a business background, being in the military and the positions I've held, so I kind of understand how business operations work. And one of the things that I saw that made me raise my eyebrow initially for some of these, during the flood or the bubble era, is that these people were putting gyms in these really premium locations.
Yeah.
Storefronts in like big shopping areas, which is great from an aesthetics perspective.
Yeah.
Also, as far as the foot traffic, putting it in certain areas, and obviously these higher end malls are going to have a certain economic demographic that are going to be in those areas. But with that comes the cost of having your facility in that area.
There's a couple issues. First, if you're going to open with 16, say it's, well, I'll be generous. Let's say it's a $10,000 overhead per month for a storefront that's new.
That's just to have a building to put your equipment
that's your
in.
rent per month. Just put that in, right? And then you have 0 members, and you're gonna, even if you charge $200 per member, right? You have to do a lot of work just to get your rent covered, right? It's just, and that's not even to pay utilities, pay whatever else that you have. If you're opening this large scale like you want, are you paying your staff? What money are you making that you're not in the red day one to where you can never recover? Our first month that we were open, we were in the black, $100, $100. We made $100 profit very first month of opening. That was after all expenses paid and everything. And that to me was great. I was okay with that,
Which from an accounting perspective, you normally don't expect to turn a profit until like the 3-year point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're profitable, and then it just keeps building. And the other issue you have, you go in these storefronts, people are like, oh, it's such a sweet space. Yeah, you have 6-foot ceilings. What do you do when you have someone 6'4" putting a barbell above their head? Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Or when you're dropping the barbells and you have 2 different stores on both sides of you, and someone's dropping 225-pound barbell from overhead constantly for an hour, they're going to complain. And guess what? You get evicted. I see it happen all the time, to the point where people don't have another place to go.
Yeah, you said you saw that recently on the affiliate forums.
It's all over. Yeah, they drop in the barbells, get a noise complaint, noise ordinance, right? And then they actually will get physically shut down unless they have to. I've seen people build like crash pads where if they go overhead with it, they have to guide it down to these crash pad mats on each side. They have to have specific flooring or matting made, like at Brick. I think it's Brick CrossFit up in New York. They Rogue had to help them design so they could keep their location. It's just, and that's a big scale. But it does happen. People do complain, and they do get evicted. And when your neighbors hate you, well, our neighbors hate us, but our landlord loves us. Yeah, it's going to happen. I've seen it happen. I've heard of it happening. I read about it happening consistently. So you're in a big deficit. You're $30,000 in debt for equipment. You got, say, $10,000. That's pretty lenient for a storefront. You're probably looking at 15 to 16 grand per month there. And then you got your neighbors who hate you. Well, now you just signed a 1-year lease and you're about to get evicted. You still got to pay that shit.
And talking about that noise ordinance issue, I actually have a friend of mine who owns a gym who they're not going to be allowed to renew their lease, which I think is kind of garbage, because like the landlord won't even talk to them, not returning their phone calls, emails, anything. They just want them out because I guess they're tired of the noise complaints.
That's the reality.
Yeah, and that's the reality. You can't make them release you the facility.
Nope, because in the grand scheme of things, if you own a building and you have multiple people in that building, left and right and behind you, they care more about the other 3 than the one. Yeah, you're always going to get ousted. And, CrossFit is going to, as always, CrossFit's the first to go in anything.
Even going back to thinking about some of those locations in San Antonio, where are you going to run? Because it was like a major trafficked area.
Where are you going to park?
Where are you going to park? They tried to get creative and have people like run behind the facility, but then there's like cargo trucks and things like that going back and forth, because it was a pretty massive storefront. One of the anchor stores was a grocery store. So there's always, something coming and going when it comes to that aspect. And again, it was a great location, great aesthetic look to it, but it wound up not working for them to the point where it had to shut down because they couldn't afford to keep it open anymore.
When you're going to start a business, man, when we started this gym, the process, it's going to be different for everybody. But this process starts way in advance before you even have the location, right? You have to do so much work before you even have a building. You can't find a building, get your affiliate, and then start the process of what your business is going to be. Because if you do, then now I'm already paying. I paid my $3,000 affiliate, and then I found the building, so I'm paying rent for something I'm not even using. That's stupid. But there's a lot of work that goes ahead of time. Like, what can you afford? You got to be honest. Like, what do we need, not what do we want as equipment? Vital things that come is on the financial side, so that if you do hit a rough patch or something is slow, you still have a cushion.
A contingency.
Yeah, you know what your bottom dollar is that you need to bring in per month, and you look for a building that you can afford with that cushion built in. Like, everything can look sweet. Our gym, when we took it over, it was a hellhole.
Yeah, you showed me the pictures.
Covered in black soot. You would never even know that our gym looked the way it did. But it takes time, We, of course, paint the walls. And we started with something basic as painting the walls, painting the railing, putting new paint on it. Over time, as you grow, you reinvest into your gym. And we always reinvest about 90% of our earnings every single year goes right back into this gym in one way, shape, or form. It does. And you can do that up front, but what you're going to have is an empty, sweet looking gym. That's it. Yeah. You got no members. You're going to you're getting the financial crush that you're going to get from crap. How are we going to pay our rent? Now you got to take out of your own personal pocket, or you got to ask someone for money, because your landlord don't care if you don't have the money.
They want their check. Yeah.
They're a business owner too. They want their money. So, there's a lot of pitfalls you can do if you're going to open this as a hobby or as a business. You got to avoid a lot.
Yeah. Another trap I saw people fall into was they found a good facility, good location, but it was too big. The thought process being, I'll just fill it up.
Yeah, so easy. Hey, Mo, I'm going to go get 20 members. I'll be right back. Right? No problem. And I'm going to get the highest quality members that I can. Just go get them, because they're out there waiting. They're knocking down my door. Yeah. Right? Come on.
Yeah, building. I saw people select facilities that were good working space, could do everything they needed to do, but you can't hope to fill a space. Ideally, you like to outgrow the space that you have, and I've seen plenty of facilities have to move because they've outgrown themselves, and that's a good thing. That's a great thing to happen. Right.
And I think that you can get, if you can get a large area and the price is reasonable per month in comparison to what you're doing. Say you wanted a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot facility, but you see one that's 8 or 9, and it's only a few $100s more a month. That's a pretty good deal. But if it's doubling, or 2.5 times what you're paying for a rent at a 5,000 square foot, that's just a dumb move, right? Because if you get a good deal, and that's usually your bigger cities, because they're trying to fill.
They just want to get something occupied.
Yeah, they're trying to fill all these vacant buildings and stuff, and you can get really, like, I know Town CrossFit a couple years ago, they took over, I think it was a 14,000 square foot facility. It's huge, and but they got such a great deal on it, you can't really turn it down. It was basically given to them, so their overhead is almost zero for the amount of people that they have, but they got a good deal on it. So if you do that, that's cool, but it just comes. You can't get a big location hoping you're going to fill it, and then you can't start a gym and build it and they will come philosophy and invest all your money up front, and then they don't come.
And then the flip side of that size thing, I saw some gyms that were smart about their size, smart about their location, but where they didn't make some good choices as they didn't expand to a larger facility when they had a certain amount of membership, to the point where safety became an issue because people are just too close, too packed in, and it just became challenging for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Matt said it best, Plapp, when we had him on here. it's CrossFit's tough, and it's not just tough because of the business side. There's hard decisions to be made. There's where do you spend your money, okay? And if you don't have a good financial backer and you're doing this organically like we did, there is no net. We have no net. It's I'm going to climb a 10,000 foot pole, Mo, and there's nothing to catch me.
Yeah.
It's either I'm going to make it to the top of that pole, or I'm going to fall and I'm going to die. That's just the way it is. I mean, that's the reality of the business. It's not there's not all these safety nets. It's I think once you get established, I would say we're established. You get a great core of members that tend to maybe occasionally one or two will leave through a year, but you have a good big core nucleus that okay. I know that for sure. I have some stability in that aspect as long as I keep doing what I'm doing. And I know I have X amount of month coming per month, and then we have a 30-day cancellation policy, so that helps us make some more.
You can forecast a little bit,
right? So if I know I have $8,000 or $9,000 coming in this next month, and I know what my bills are, and we have X, I know I can purchase this if we need it. We might need a couple barbells. Let's wait till next month. We'll just buy 3 or 4. Right, because we know we have this much money coming in. So
now, in certain businesses, there are countermeasures you can take, but with CrossFit being so new from the business side of it, in terms of gym ownership, this is all uncharted territory. There's no book you can buy that says this is what you need to do to be a successful CrossFit business. You can talk to other owners and you can get stories. There's no de facto course you can take or book you can read that will guarantee your success. I mean, in business in general, but more so in CrossFit, it's all new. I won't say it's the Wild West. Things have calmed down a little bit, but there are some best practices you can identify, throughout the world that will help, secure longevity. Where, rewind it 8 years ago, we didn't have that.
We do talk about how tough the business is in CrossFit. But it's almost like Olympic lifting. It looks so complex, but it's so simple. It really is. We're dead in the first pull. We're deadlifting a barbell that's way under our deadlift max. Okay, we're driving our feet through the ground through the second pull, get into the pocket, being patient, and then we're going to unleash hell on that barbell vertically. Pushing through our heels and midfoot, and we're going to catch this barbell. In essence, it's so simple, but there's so much that can go wrong in between. Owning a CrossFit gym is simple, in the fact that
there's some key elements you've talked to me about that
you have to be personable. Yeah. But if you're not personable, but even smaller than that, treat people how you want to be treated. If something's dirty, clean it. Right? Listen to what your members have to say. It doesn't mean they're right, but you listen to them. Okay? Give them a place that they can separate themselves from society, okay? Because, people have very stressful lives and jobs, or just a bad day, whatever. Give them a home away from home, and then that will spread like a wildfire. It's very simple. It's nothing crazy. You could probably sum all that. Just treat people how you want to be treated. Do you want to be segregated from society as a person? Or you want to be part of society as a person? So are you going to segregate your members apart from each other, from the competitive to the non-competitive athletes like we've talked about? Or are you going to bring them all together as one? You tell me what you would rather. Do you want to walk into your the most filthiest place that you call your home and go to use a bathroom and it's caked in urine? Or do you want to go into somewhere where you can walk barefoot and go into the bathroom and it looked nice? It's so simple. Just do the simple things in CrossFit as a business, and keep you gotta progress like in anything as a business sense, and keep learning and evolving. But man, just treat people how you want to be treated, and just give them a place where they want to be. They can't imagine being anywhere else, and they
that
won't
third
leave.
space that we've described before. So you have your home and you have your work.
And you got that transition.
And you got that transition to the gym. So creating an environment in a space where people look forward, throughout the day. Oh, well, hey, let me go look up the workout.
Right.
Or hey, I hope so and so is there today. I haven't seen them in a while. Oh, hey, so and so's getting ready to leave, so we got to go make sure we get it there tonight to say goodbye to them. Creating those experiences in those environments that are centered around the people that make your community versus some of those early gyms we saw where they were more focused on money
themselves
and themselves.
Yeah.
And just creating a name for them in the ability to produce elite athletes where,
right.
And we talked about it earlier, what percentage of CrossFit athletes make it to regionals?
Yeah.
What percentage of CrossFit athletes make it to the games?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and let me flip this as a business. What does that do for you as a business? What's it do? It doesn't make me no money. I'm not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get anything from HQ if I send a regional qualifier. I don't get anything from HQ if I send a games athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get anything from it. I don't get anything. I don't have members knocking down my door because we sent a girl to games, or I've worked with regional athletes, or I've had high level weightlifter. It doesn't happen. Now, will you get a good reputation of being a good trainer and a good coach and things like that? Yeah. Can that eventually attract people? Yeah. But it's not something like, oh, as soon as I send someone to regionals, I'm going to gain 25 members.
Oh, okay. So there's no directly proportional relationship. Like if you achieve this,
right,
this will happen.
Because I tell you what, that'd be pretty sweet if I gained 20, but even if I did gain 25 members, me and Mo were just talking off mic, just because you get 25 doesn't mean that you're going to get 25, because some of them may not like your gym. Some of them may not like what you do as programming. Some of them may not fit in with your culture, because anybody that comes in our gym that's new, if our people and you don't get along, then you're not going to work out here, because that's what it's the biggest thing for us. When we'll accept any and everybody as a member, as long as they, our members like them and they like our members and they believe in what we're doing. And that's as simple as it is.
And going back to those, getting 20 new people, one of the things Aaron Giannetti said on his interview with us when we first started,
right,
he said he's got businesses calling him, say, hey, I can get you 20 leads. He's like, I don't want 20 leads.
Right.
It's like, have any idea like how much time and energy goes into 20 athletes? It's ridiculous. He's like, I want 5 quality leads that I know I can work with and that they will be conducive with our community and that they will stay here for a long time.
Yeah, for the longest time. And maybe it's getting away from that a little bit. It used to be a thing some still do it. And first thing you hear as a gym owner is like, how many members you got? I'm like, I don't know, dude. What you bench? Like, what's up? Like, it's the same thing. It's the same. Like, I just met you and you're asking me how many members I got because I'm an owner. Like, I'll share with you. I don't care. But like, hey, what's up, man? Mm-hmm. Nice to meet you. How's things going? Business good?
Yeah.
No, what does it matter? Are we like, stop trying to, measure me up because of maybe I have 100 less members than you, because then I'll like, well, how's your quality of members? Like, how's your coaching? Mm-hmm. How do your members move? Mm-hmm. How's your community? Is there any segregation? Do they all get along? Do you have clean bathrooms? Do you have a nice facility? I'll pick apart your crap all day long, bro. You can have as many members as you want. It doesn't matter. Maybe you are just in a hotbed that is accepting, has a huge pool to pull from in the cities. And then maybe your pricing is slightly different than mine. Maybe you run these 50% off months for whatever, if you bring a friend, all this crap. Maybe you'll discount all the new people and just make all your people paying full price suffer. Like
that have been there for 10 years.
Yeah, like I always hated that. DirecTV would call me like, or I'd see on DirecTV, all new members get the NFL Sunday ticket free. I'm like, bro, I've been with you 10 years. Yeah. 10 years I've been paying, and I don't even get a discount. Like,
it's like when I was a kid, my dad used to get frustrated because he's had Sports Illustrated like ever since I was a child, and like they offer all these incentives, and he's like, why don't I get any of this?
Yeah, I've been with you forever, because they don't care. Yeah. They don't care. They care about the new, getting the money in, getting that turnover going. And, I'm not saying you have to retain every single member you get, because it's impossible. Mm-hmm. But
and you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Military, medical move,
it can happen.
Those are things that happen.
Life can happen.
Financial issues happen.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'll never say, like Janae said, you bring me 20. You're interjecting 20 people into our gym that are
20 different personalities.
20 different personalities. I know that they're not all going to mesh, because I've seen it happen here. We've had people come in, they don't mesh, and that's okay. are we the assholes or they assholes? I don't care. They just don't fit. And I will never sacrifice what we have here for one member or 50 members. You could say, Brody, you're getting 50 members tomorrow. I'm like, I don't want 15 members. I'll take the money. But you know, saying that's what it equates to. You get 50 new members, and, you know, ours $140 a month. You know, the money be pretty sweet right off the bat. But at the same time,
there's things that come with that.
A lot that comes with that. And number one that comes with that is the possibility that it's going to ruin what we have and the dynamic of that an atmosphere that our gym has. And no amount of money, no person, nothing. But yeah, no amount of money, no person will ever come in here and take away from what we have fought to build and our members fight daily to keep.
And as I've continued to be part of this culture and that bubble has since passed, I feel as if that behavior is a lot less frequent than it was before. You see people being a little bit more judicious when they decide to open a gym. You still see those gyms that open and close really quick, but not nearly at the scale that we did 6 years ago. And I remember having that conversation with my wife when HQ initially signed that deal with Reebok. We were like, uh-oh. Like, we were genuinely worried because we didn't want it to get watered down and for it to go away with what we had come to embrace and love. And, you know, the best filter for a good business is see how long it stays open. And I think, you know, because even Greg Glossman says that, you know, survival of the fittest, and that's intentionally why he doesn't put all these constraints on what you can and can't do once you pay your affiliation fee, because that's his philosophy. You know, the strong will survive, and we see some gyms stay open for 10 years plus. We see some gyms stay open for 2, and that's just kind of his philosophy. So I don't think he's got an issue with whether you're a hobbyist or an owner.
He don't care.
But I know who does care, and that's the people that are paying you to get them to be better versions of themselves.
I think you said it good. You know, they're concerned, Mel and Mo were concerned that it was going to water down CrossFit with the interjection of all these businesses. But it doesn't matter, because honestly, quality will always outlast quantity. Okay? We don't have to have the largest military force. Right, we're the most
small and efficient. Yeah.
We're the most lethal, though. No one's going to mess with us. It's not even comparable, right? It doesn't matter if you have 1 million soldiers, because we're 10-1 on you, bro. That's just the way it is. Because the quality and the training and the time invested is so much better that you will outlast it, whatever. And the people will find, and I think where the big switches come. If you're a good gym, you're a quality gym, people will find you. It's just the way it is. They will find you, because back when we were in it, I had 2 options, 3 options, and that's it. I can think of 10.
I had 1 when I first started.
And now you have these options. So you as owners, I'm an owner too, and I know this, but I practice it daily. You have to treat your members right. You have to give them the quality coaching. You have to pay attention to them. You can't let them swing around on a band doing stuff dangerously and tell them good job. Like, they're not stupid. Don't treat them like they don't know what the heck's going on. When they see someone beside them doing it proper, and then they're doing it and they know it's not proper, and then you tell them great job, well, that's like letting a dog walk in your house and shit on your carpet and saying, "Oh, such a good boy,"
and giving him a treat.
Yeah, like, here, you want a treat? Like, no, bro, his nose is going in it, and he's getting kicked out the door. Like, you ain't doing that again.
He's going on timeout.
But that's the thing. You can't sit here and you can't do it anymore, because there's so many options. You will lose members if you mistreat them. You will lose members if you don't, like I said, you have to listen to them. You don't always have to do what they say. But you gotta ask yourself in the mirror. We were just talking about this. Is their complaint valid? And if it's valid and you don't fix it, you're dumb. It is.
Because they're the ones that are keeping your lights on.
Right. And I think sometimes when you start getting a little established, you start letting that go a little bit, because you're like, oh, we got a foothold in this thing. No, you don't, bro. Because first thing to go is in CrossFit is CrossFit. Like, people will cut you out of their lives.
Yeah, as soon as a financial crunch happens.
Yeah, CrossFit's the first to go no matter what. It's just the way it is. And we are not a necessity, even though we should be.
Agreed.
Right?
Well, I mean, I make it a choice to make it a necessity.
Right.
But not everybody has that ability.
Nope, they don't. And we're not a necessity. It's not like electric or gas. I think that is a necessity, or house payment or car payment. Those are necessities. We are not a necessity. Okay. So we will be cut out as needed of their life. If we don't give them a service and they think CrossFit is a necessity, like Mo said, they will find a gym that gives them the service that they now want, that the bathrooms are clean, that the floors are clean, that they're getting coached up, that, there's no cliques or drama inside the gym. They will find that gym and then they'll go to it.
And it's probably safe to say that the person who is, air quote, new to CrossFit now is far more intelligent about CrossFit than they were in 2008. Because I remember I knew exactly nothing about it when I walked in, and my world got rocked. Where now, as when I have people that come in that want to get involved, they're like, oh, I have a friend that does it, or I saw it on TV, or I looked up some videos, or, XYZ. They have some sort of frame of reference now. And if you don't think that they're basically shopping when they come to you,
this is what they're doing.
They're shopping. Even when I moved here, 4 years ago, we shopped around, and we found a place that was conducive to where we lived, where I worked, and it worked well for us. But I shopped.
No, you're right. And
I didn't just go to the first place and I'm going to pull up Chalks here.
I'm going to tell you straight up. I've had people visit and then be like, we'll be talking and be like, man, my buddy's gym is nothing like this. Like, they'll compare, they'll talk to each other. Be like, hey man, what's your workout? We did like sit-ups and like air squats for 5 minutes. What was your strength? Oh, we don't run strength at our gym. That's weird. What'd you do for a warm-up? Oh, they just had stuff on the whiteboard. We just did it on our own. No.
The consumer, and let's just say what they are, the consumer is far more intelligent now.
Yeah. They're like, dude, get the hell out of that gym. Like, that's not right.
And with communications the way they are on social media, where, they can text their cousin in San Diego and say, hey, is this what is normal?
Yeah. Like, it seems really off. It's not what I thought. And then be like, no, dude, that's definitely not normal.
And speaking to that, like my aunt, whose best friend just moved to, a town that I had lived in previously. And they were like, hey, do you have any recommendations for gyms? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Never met this woman before in my life. Just kind of ran the quick screen. What's your experience? What are you looking for? Where do you live? What's your flexibility? How much, what can you afford? Just, kind of running that checklist for them. Like, okay, well, my buddy's gym is way over here. I really wish you could go there. It's just too damn far. But I would recommend dropping in. But here's the ones in your area. They're affiliated. They've, I talked to my buddy. He gave him the thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. So consumer, your athletes / consumers are far more intelligent.
And like I said, they have more options. If you got like 2 CrossFit gyms, it's like, well, it's 50-50. And what happens if they both suck? Now what? What do you do? Do you go get your affiliate and do it at home on YouTube? What do you do? You know what I mean? So we just had a girl, she moved. She was here for 9 months, but she's on rotations. And it sucked losing her. She's moved out to Malibu, California. So
I'm sure she'll have a hard time finding a CrossFit gym out there.
She is, actually. That's what's funny, right? Because you think, well, you have such a big location, you won't have a hard time. Well, she is, because when you get accustomed to something or your expectations X, and when you go into gym after gym after gym, and it's completely the polar opposite of that, she's getting very, very discouraged. And like, she's about to give up. And just like it happened with Brian, don't give up. Like, find the gym that you want. And then that's your gym. Like, we have the ability to do that now. Back in the day, you didn't have that. It's like you just did CrossFit to do CrossFit because that's the only place you could do CrossFit, right? Consumers are smarter, and then they also have more options, and that's.
And I really think globally, to kind of sum this up, is if you make your community one that people want to go to, I don't really know that you can go wrong. Like you said, people don't really take, little things, you might think it's little as an athlete or an individual because your standards are higher or lower, but things like clean bathrooms, clean floors, people, as a whole greeting you when you walk in when you're a stranger. Nothing I can't stand more when I walk into a box I've never been to and everybody looks at me like I'm a total stranger.
Yeah, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
For me, if I see someone I don't recognize, I've even done in the middle of workouts, like the coach is busy, all this other chaos is going on. I've stopped and walked over and be like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm all sweaty. I'm breathing hard, but I'm Mo. Can I help you?
You'd be like, where's the machines? No, yeah, you're right. It's God.
And I'm not even an owner, but that's the ownership that I take with my community because I know if I take care of my owner's going to take care of our community.
When we set up the gym, we had 3 key things that we wanted to focus on. That was atmosphere, training, programming, literally in that order, right? First and foremost, we wanted to build the best atmosphere possible because like Mo said, you can have we could have the best training and best programming, but if your atmosphere sucks, people don't want to be there. So you have to create an area where people literally want to be there as much as possible, right? Because we talked about it. CrossFit will be the first to go, and if they find a way out because it's just not clicking with them anymore, they're going to leave, and that can happen. But atmosphere is huge. Yeah, someone comes in the door, you don't have to, bum rush them like you were there at like Hollister, like they used to.
Is it the buckle challenge?
Yeah, the
My kids
buckle
talk
too.
about
Like,
that.
oh my gosh, dude! Like, you don't have to do that to them, but people need to say hi to them and introduce them. But the atmosphere should be buzzing, everybody laughing, grunting, screaming, yelling, crying,
cheering each other on.
Yeah, cheering each other on, getting through the workout, and that can be intimidating. But create an atmosphere that's good, and then the rest. You don't have to then have the best program. You don't have to have the best training because you should. But I'm just saying the atmosphere has so much weight in it that I don't know. I'd say it's number 1 in my book.
And I think you can sum it up by saying that if your athletes know that you as an organization care about them, they will in turn care about you and do everything they can to make that the best place for everyone to come work out.
Yeah. I was telling Mo, I think it was the last episode that, coaches never seek recognition or they shouldn't. Like, now I at the same time, I'm not stupid in saying that, when I help an athlete that I had no hand in doing that. I'm not dumb. It's a 50-50. Like I had to give them, they had to give me. But he said something that's really special for owners because a lot of times a lot of stuff that you do or should be doing, people never see how late you're up, the brainstorming, the ideas, the things you're writing down, you're playing in your head, the sacrifice, the commitment, the unrelentless things you do to make this the best place for them.
My owner, Amelia, I'll wake up in the morning and there'll be a message from like 3:00 that night in our owners group or in our coaches group. I'm like, man, she cares,
And when they see that, right, and your members see that, then when you need them, they'll be there. And without question, we just did a huge remodel at our gym, and we had like 50 people here that are
on their weekend
for 11 hours putting I'm go big or go home. Like we literally had, it was 11 straight hours of work with, 40 to 50 people. And they didn't have to be here. Just all of it wouldn't have got done. But that tells me and shows me how much they care about doing this for them and the others and how much they appreciate what we do for them. I mean, it didn't cost them anything. I bought them pizza, and then we picked up this or whatever. But yeah, it's nice. And when you get that little nudge of, or a text from a member and telling how much they appreciate you, I tell you, that takes about 180 hours worth of work, and that it was just tough and grinding, and gets rid of it because it means that much.
To me, the funniest comment after all this was said and done is, I don't know who it was, but like, are you going to raise our prices?
Right. Yeah, they're like, because we're not fancy here. Like we like to keep it looking nice. We repaint our walls every year or every 2 years, and we put money in. Just we like it to look nice, but not for. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. It's not for anybody coming in. It is not.
It's for the members.
It is for the members. I would never do that. We will never do that as a gym. We'll never put money into our gym aesthetically to gain membership, because if that's the type of member that's coming in because they care about how we look, I don't want you anyways.
Yeah.
I want you to be part of our family. I want you to like our people, like our trainers, like our programming, like our atmosphere. I care about that. Like, if it's the paint on the walls and stuff, like, you're too foo-foo for me, bro. Get out. Like, but yeah, they did.
As we drink our $11 4-packs.
With pinkies up, baby. Yeah. But no. Yeah, they asked if we were country club access now, and if their memberships were getting raised, because I never said anything. But no, it's same thing, just something for our people.
All right, so this week's call to action. Why don't you go ahead and put a comment in the notes below and tell us the best part about your gym, what it is that makes it a community and a family. Got anything else?
Man, I don't know. That was good. I got back-to-back episodes just
off the dome.
Dude, we pulled this out from the depths of hell.
Well, we've been talking about this on and off for, since December. So, yeah, just felt like the right time to talk about it.
Yeah, man. It's good to talk about. I think that I'm glad. I hope there's more owners out there that kind of, we keep getting new gyms. I really do, because the more gyms that we have, the more times
we all win.
Everybody wins. It's not like, and
because now I got another gym to compete against.
Right. But and I'm not just saying this. Any gym can open up right beside me. I don't care, bro. Like, I'm comfortable with what I offer. I'm comfortable with how I treat my members. Let's get along and make some money. Like,
exactly. Let's do this.
You have an event, I'm going to send my people. You have an event, I have an event, you send your people. Like, that's the reality. Like, our culture in CrossFit, and I've talked about the Columbus community a lot. Their culture there is as affiliations is awesome. You go there, they all get along, they all love each other, they just all have a great time together. It's like a big party. And the more gyms we can get like that is greater for everybody. Yeah. Not just as a business, but you get to touch more people's lives. A gym that opens and they get 70, 80, 100 people in there, that's 70, 80, 100 people that's not in my gym that are doing CrossFit. I'm cool with that. I want that. And as an owner, I think we need that. We've talked about how obese our country is. Like, give people more options, give them a value to do things, or a good quality product, and allow them to spend their money on something that they love. And then in the return, they get in better shape and get off meds, and they get more fit. They lose the fat. They get a 6-pack, and get to have fun with the people.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that brings this week's episode to a close. I'm Mo, and I'm out.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening to the One More Rep podcast. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at One More Rep Podcast, or on Twitter at Can I Get One More, or shoot us an email at canigetonemore@gmail.com. So I have a left-hand stout peach Berlini Radler. Oh, it's 4%, so.
Uh-oh.
So maybe about 12 minutes in, I'll be a little chuckly.
Mo's the drunkest girl at the party.
Yeah, man. Zimas and Jolly Ranchers. Check. Tennessee, when regionals were going on. Like you said, he didn't realize it was in the building next to his hotel. He said he was, they had a family reunion, and he said he was walking down the street and he saw a bunch of girls in booty shorts and, hair ties, and he was like, "Oh, hey, those look like my people." So then he started.
I know you.
Yeah, he started wandering around. And he saw the signs, CrossFit Regional. He's like, "Well, shit," He went in, watched a couple heats.
Wow.
He said it was pretty cool.
Didn't know.
No. All right. Well, that brings this week's episode to a close. I'm Mo, and I'm out.
See you guys. Don't ask me again. Like, hey, bro, you got anything else? Yeah, I got you. Got about 10 more minutes of podcast to tell you.